we seem to be having a lot of misconceptions about the smart meter. Can you tell us in a nutshell what it's all about, why it's good for us or not good for us?
This is called the advanced metering infrastructure. So this meters all the meters will be connected to a system in which communication with the meter will be possible. We can get information from the meter. The meter can take the command from us.
In every place where smart meter is being installed, the service provider, you have to check the conductivity of the signal. Signal is there in that area, then he will install. Otherwise,
You mean the network, the mobile
like
connectivity?
mobile networks will be there. So, then they will install the meters. Otherwise, they will not do it.
Even in the RTI, it has already stated that SIM card will be installed or GPRS will be installed. After all, at the end of the day, technology is made by man. And who can hack that technology is a man himself. And we have that question of security aspect also. If it is made in China, what will happen to the security of the country?
So when the sector is run by the government, there will be always chance of loss of some efficiency, but equity is maintained. As in some sector, employment, there will be a chance of employment curtailed. If you, as your smart meter, from your one room, you can see what amount of current is being used or electricity used by each family, and it is. So persons who go to house and see the meter reading, so those employments will be curtailed. It's like that.
Hello viewers, in this episode of Let's Talk, we're going to discuss the Meghalaya power sector, all its problems and opportunities, and of course we have to discuss the smart meter also because there's a lot of haziness over how the smart meter project is going to be implemented. It has been implemented in some places, not in others. So to discuss this very important issue, we have with us two very eminent engineers from the MECL. Mr. M.B. Kurba, who is the Chief Engineer Projects, Mr. R. Same, Director Distribution. We have Roy Kupar Sindrem, member of the Nyotrep Youth Council and also an advocate. We have Professor Utpal De, Professor of Economics, NEHU. Let me turn first to Bas Im, because prior to this discussion, we had an informal talk and we seem to be having a lot of misconceptions about the smart meter. Can you tell us in a nutshell what it's all about, why it's good for us or not good for us, and whether it's Chinese made or Indian made, and how is it being implemented, which are the areas I think out of the 2 lakh smart meters, how many have been implemented as of today?
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, smart metering, it is not smart meter alone. What we are doing, in fact, it is a project which doesn't deal with an individual meter. What is the meters that we are connecting in our houses, in our premises, are only single meter which they work on a standalone system. But when this smart metering system will be in place, this is not only that the meter is smart, but it's the system that we develop.
What is that system?
This is called the advanced metering infrastructure. So this all the meters will be connected to a system in which communication with the meter will be possible. We can get information from the meter. The meter can take the command from us. So this is a system. It's not a single meter alone. So smart metering actually is something that is not.
How does it benefit the consumer?
Yes, it is not happening here only, but if you see in the different states, neighboring states, Assam, Bihar, Andhra, and many other states also are coming up. And not only that, but if you see the government of India is coming up with another scheme, which is called RDSS, Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme. Under this scheme also, smart metering is one of the component of the scheme. besides loss reduction and infrastructure development.
Have these other states given this to the private sector, the smart metering process? Because we have seen a lot of media narratives about how Global Satnam has come in and intending to use Chinese made meters and overcharging the government and all that. Because of that, I think there is a certain degree of, uneasiness about the whole thing.
Okay, ma'am. I think I'll just finish regarding the advantage or the
Disadvantage.
profits that we get out of the smart meter. The smart meter, when we install a smart meter, the first thing is that the utility. How does the utility benefits? You see, ma'am, these days we've observed the complaints. I mean, by the complaints that we get from the people, from the consumers, there are a number of complaints which are human related.
Meaning?
It is sometimes because of the human error, because of the human mistakes. So these complaints do come up. Say like now, taking a meter reading. We have meter readers, we have these things. When they take the reading, there are chances that these kind of mistakes can happen. There's a calculating mistake. These are human errors can happen. But when we have the system totally lesser human intervention, we can rule out, we can reduce all these flaws, all these...
Would you then be able to collect more revenue?
Obviously, it has to be, ma'am, because once we have 100% connected to a system, we don't have to go to the premises of the consumer, but we can straight away sitting in the comfort of the premises of the office, we can get all the data. So that is the convenience and of working and the speed, the convenience of functioning of the system. And not only that, but in the process, you see, ma'am, actually, when we transmit power from one end to another end, the problem that we encounter in this thing now, we have a lot of AT&C loss. So these losses also, once we have this automatic system in place, these losses also can be checked, can be controlled. So now, how much of energy we are injecting at the source, how much of energy is being received at the intermediate station, how much of energy is being received at the distributing substation, and how much of energy is received up to the consumer. All these different levels can be monitored.
But you haven't answered that question. Out of 2 lakh smart meters, how many have been installed?
Yes, ma'am, out of 2 lakhs, we have installed more than 60,000 right now.
Okay.
And the process is still...
Which districts majorly?
Majorly in Garo Hills.
Oh, so that is your testing area. Why not East Khasi Hills first?
Garo Hills, because I think because we have looked from the
revenue point of
the
view.
revenue point of view.
Okay.
And we are doing this side also, but it is because we need to saturate one area first. And I think whatever we are doing there, we are almost going on well. And we have under this scheme, we have about 180,000 meters, which we will be completing. Once that is completed, then we will continue this smart metering with another scheme from the Government of India.
Let me come to Bakurba. Did the MECL float tenders to engage the billing company? And did you also... this is again what we've heard. We've heard that MECL is giving ₹6 per meter to the billing company when it should have been free of cost. So how true or how false is this?
So I think I'll reply better.
It is like this, ma'am. This billing, it's not that it's free. You're correct, yeah, and this metering system, billing system, sorry. billing system which is in place now is already in service, and
Why do you have to pay the billing company that 6 rupees?
this is because of the entire, because for the software system that they use, for the expertise that they put in. Prior to this, ma'am, let me just say one thing. Prior to this, and even now also, we are continuing with SAP system. That's also another billing system.
What does SAP stand for?
SAP is, I don't remember the full form, ma'am, but SAP is another billing system which we are using for the 9 towns, Shillong, Juai, all the major towns. So under the SAP, I think that the per consumer will be coming much more than this. But under this one, how it has started, of course, it has been, I was not right from the beginning, so I do not have the information of the beginning, ma'am. But we had regularized this process in which the firm which is involved in billing system has agreed to this payment of 6 rupees per.
So was the tender floated actually?
There was no tender, ma'am.
Why so?
That's why, ma'am. Actually, that is the part that perhaps I think
you were not there
I
at
was
that
not there,
time.
so I
Okay.
would not be in a position to tell what had happened at that point of time. But I mean, in the process, but this system, because we cannot ignore this billing system, ma'am. Because if we do not bill, then it becomes a problem. The corporation, the entire thing
No, we understand the importance of proper billing, regular billing, but we don't understand why the MECL has to pay the billing company. That is one part that we don't understand. Anyway, let me come to Roy Kupar now. You had been doing a lot of RTIs and other things on MECL, on the smart meter project as well. So can you tell the viewers what are the key points that pushed the organization to do all this?
See, from the beginning, when this issue cropped up or came before the public, it was the HYC which has first shot a letter to the then Power Minister, Mr. James Sangma, urging the government that they should stop or keep in abeyance this project of smart meter, because it came to the public domain that the cost of each smart meter that was awarded to Satnam, it was very high. It came to about 12,000 per meter, because the cost of the contract that was given to Satnam is around 232 crores for the supply of 180,000 meters. So if you do a simple calculation, it comes to around 12,000 meters. Whereas if you go to the open market, the cost of each smart meters is only 3,500 to say around 5,000. So we have asked that question. Based on that, we have filed the RTI, and we have also we have also written to the Power Minister concerned. So there are these discrepancies. So based on this, the public opinion is that the MECL and the government should stop this project. But nevertheless, the government did not even listen. They went ahead with this project, and we have also made the public understand. And that is why there is so much hesitancy on the part of Khasi and Jaintia Hills to, the people are not allowing MECL to install smart meters. Firstly, public money are wasted, so to say, because after all, this 232 crores, it comes from the public exchequer.
Yes.
It's not the money of James P.K. Sangma, the then Power Minister, or this government, or MECL per se. It is the public money. It is a taxpayer money. So why waste that much of money? Second thing, when we have filed this RTI, we even had a discussion with the present Power Minister. Even that time when we had a discussion with him, he was not able to answer to us. Because on the floor of the House, the then Power Minister, James P.K. Sangma, said that the cost of each single-phase smart meter costs around 3,500. And then the present Power Minister, he said the cost will not be more than 5,000. But then if when we look at when we went and shown to him these papers that we have, he was not in a position to answer to us. Then he sent us to the officers, both of them are here, we had a meeting. Then they have explained to us. What surprised us is that okay, the cost of the basic component, the basic cost of the smart meters, maybe the single phase is 3,500, then the three phase is around 5,000. But what concerns us is that the AMI that has stated by BAS AM, the cost of advanced metering system is 78 crores, and then the cost of operation and maintenance is about 22 crores. The cost of acquiring around 20,000 spare meters, he has only stated about the actual 1,80,000, but in the documents there is also a provision for around 20,000 spare meters. 19,000 is for the single phase and around 500 for the three phase. So that cost also comes to around 10,000. So if you calculate this, the extra expenditure is around 1,000 or 100 crores. So we feel that the MECL or the power department should have first find out some other practices. Like you have now the prepaid system. The prepaid system is also the best way how to to bring revenue or to check that AC aggregate commercial and technical losses which the MECL is facing right now. So we are of the opinion that MECL should have first take other avenues, should have first see and look into other avenues. And the second thing is that we have also questioned the MECL and the power department. See, there is a company of the central government, the undertaking, the ESL. They are doing for free. In fact, they are doing it the OPEX and CAPEX model, in which the DISCOM or the power department of the state does not have to invest.
That is what I was going to ask
you. They don't have to pay 232 crores, or they may say that this is a grant of the central government, but nevertheless, the state government is spending around 50 crores. They are they are investing around 50 crores. So why not go for this? For this way in which involve ECL. So in that way, we don't have to spend money. But our leaders, our power minister or the government does not take, because they want to. Maybe there are something behind in which Satnam was was awarded this contract. Even if you go into the contract, the process of contracting also, you'll see the detail NIT was changed like 5 or 4 times. Corrigendum was prepared or was changed so that it fit one particular contractor.
So is he still around? Is Satnam still?
Yeah, they are doing this. They are doing this contract.
So let me come to Professor Day. What are your views on the the Central Electricity Act amendment, where the government wants to liberalize the sector and you can choose your power producer? What are your views on that? And maybe at some point this will happen to Meghalaya also? It may happen.
Yeah.
If the sector fails to generate enough revenue and every time money has to be poured in to run the whole sector, there will be a time when the central government will say, you manage your own thing.
No, any system or any sector, whenever we go for privatization, the main objective is to improve the efficiency. And there is always you can see a compromise or a trade-off between efficiency and equity. So when the sector is run by the government, there will be always chance of loss of some efficiency, but equity is maintained. As in some sector, employment, there will be a chance of employment curtailed. If you, as your smart meter, from your one room, you can see what amount of current is being used or electricity used by each family, and it is. So persons who go to house and see the meter reading, so those employments will be curtailed. It's like that. So here also, from the production to the distribution to the final consumers, that transmission to distribution, so everywhere if it is privatized, so one question of the privatization is that there should be a complete what you call that means competition or free competition. If competition is ensured, then there is a chance of appropriate price to come to the market and to be charged from the consumer. Any commodity, if there is a free competition or perfect competition, what we say. Now only then social welfare is maximized. Consumers also optimize their resource use. Producers also can maximize their profit or reduce the loss to the maximum extent. Now in the electricity case, the idea is very good, that privatization, because the continuous there is a loss. Similarly, in the banking sector also, non-performing assets, government is injecting money for its survival. So many sectors, but whatever injection, that means coming from public taxpayers' money. So loss is incurred by the people, the nation. But when that private company, whoever be that, I don't want to name, they make the profit, they are not sharing with the people. So profit is private, but loss is of the public. So it's like that. But here also, the chance of this ensuring competition in case of electricity, there is a doubt. Because it is, even if you gave one example while discussion about the telephonic system or the mobile, so some players came. It is not huge like perfect competition, 5-6 player, you can name them, and they use their own tower different. It is the means cordless transmission like that. But electricity is still not cordless. There is a wire system. Now in a particular city, for example, or in a particular area, Meghalaya area or any area, so there are 1,000 families. 300 families wanted another company, some families wanted another company. So through the same infrastructure, how two different companies will supply. Now there is a...
But this is already happening in Delhi.
No, Delhi, what happened? So maybe some system is engineered that majority is, and who is providing the transmission and final consumer supply. There are different stages where it is privatized. So that is one question. And second question, maybe they have their own infrastructure. It is needed, like one wire line for one company, another wire, then different maintenance will be needed. Or maybe majority is following, so they are opting for this. That can be given.
In short, what do you want to say?
Want to say is that one is the infrastructural issue, how far it can be materialized. On the pricing front also, as it is said that if the cost of production or transmission loss, everything remains at one point of time unless it is improved or the technology is adopted by different company differently. So if all are identical with minimum profit also, their price variations will be minimum. So where will be the choice? Thirdly, as happens initially when Jio came in telephone, you remember, at very minimum price they were giving huge customer to attract, and then they started escalating when others gone out of the market. Many, even BSNL also reduced their thing. So here also same thing, your price government may fix, you cannot charge more than that or below than that. Who will ensure the tripping? You are watching TV, some important program, every day I see, switch off, again come on. So disconnections, for that though you cannot divide a company that your transmission is very bad, tomorrow your contract is cancelled, another one. So consumer, even if they have the option to switch over from A to B, but it will be very difficult to switch over immediately. You cannot do every day to change, that is another. So technological is there, and even when better technology comes, you need to replace.
No, but then how do you improve the sector as it is now?
Now even,
how do you improve the PSU? What do you think needs to be done?
Even private, public sector companies, as I had written one article previous year, I think whether you had gone through, I don't know, on this ease of doing business and other in Economic Times, that even the public sector can be run in a private mode. That okay, I don't want to curtail the lakhs of people whose salary is coming, their families, their effective demand, market, everything will collapse if they become unemployed. Okay, their salaries may be tagged with the performance. You show your performance per month, this much commission you will get. Same like private system, but government is giving a minimum salary plus your incentive depending on your performance. So okay, then improvement will be there.
Okay, now let me go to...
May I just add some points regarding the electricity bill, ma'am? Why we are against, we feel that this is not beneficial to the state or to the public as well. See, firstly, this bill will encourage private competition, and everyone will be more interested in taking those areas in which the revenue will be high. Now the question is, what will happen to the rural area? That is number one. Second thing, now everyone knows that farmers are getting power subsidies. Now, if private players come into the market, will they get the same subsidy? The third thing is that, there will be an attempt to privatize DISCOM. The question is, where will the employees of our DISCOM will go? So those are the things that has to be looked into, and this and see, our state government, I don't know what is their opinion in this, but other state government, the Kerala, West Bengal, Karnataka, they have already written to the central governments.
We can imagine those states are very socialist in nature.
Yes,
so
yes.
No, madam, for the rural areas, as you said, there a provision is kept in the new amendment bill that government will maintain an exchequer. Maybe whoever private company will supply their electricity, they will incur some losses. Government will pay the company some amount of money to compensate.
See,
that.
there are also one thing in this amendment bill which says that any person can apply for a license, and in an event after 60 or 75 days, that license is not granted, it will be deemed that it is granted. So even if a company who has no say in the in the power sector, that person can come. So this will lead to favoritism.
We have had
it will lead
such
to corruption.
companies come.
Yes.
I remember
so
to Meghalaya.
those things has to be looked into. I think our government also should come forward and
Let
give
me come
the
to
opposition.
Kurbamu. We are talking about, there's a lot of talk about the need for internet connectivity to have a smartphone. Then earlier on you were saying there is no need for internet connectivity, because if that is the condition, then in the rural areas, how do you manage?
Actually, you reply to this, ma'am. Actually, in every place where smart meter is being installed, the service provider, you have to check the conductivity of the signal. Signal is there in that area, then he will install. Otherwise,
You mean the network, the mobile connectivity? Okay.
So, then they will install the meters. Otherwise, they will not do it.
So that means in rural Meghalaya you can't do that.
Mostly in rural area, they have got mobile connection nowadays.
All of the
Not
rural
all,
areas.
I don't know. I don't think it's all, but in every area where they have installed so far, there's the mobile connection.
Can you just tell us a little bit about the cost breakup in the case of single phase, three phase industrial?
Ma'am, in the cost of a single phase meter, to be exact, without GST, is 3,750 rupees per meter without the GST. And for three phase, it is around 5120.
I think so.
5120,
Yeah.
5120 rupees per meter.
And the industrial one?
Industrial meter is around 17,000 something. You have to check, ma'am, if you want the exact figure. I can give you the exact figure.
Now,
And so one more thing, coming back to what Roy was telling regarding this ESL, let me just clarify on this, Roy. See, this regarding ESL, I would just clarify on this, like maybe when we call tender for this smart meter, I don't know why ESL did not come up, even though it's a public sector undertaking. Now, and,
can we ask you how many tenderers there were?
I cannot remember, but around 4 to 5. I was not there then.
Okay.
Around 4 or 5, as you can see some records. And then, as far as I know, in Assam, smart meter is being implemented by one company called IntelliSmart. That IntelliSmart, it is a company under ESL. ESL is not doing any smart meter work, as far as I know. But in Assam, they got a contract around 6 lakh meters to be installed in Assam by IntelliSmart. It is a company under ESL. So anywhere ESL is doing smart meters or any meter at all, I have no idea now. Like so you said, you can help us with that you're doing all the smart meter work. That I have no information.
So there is going to be some impact on the sensitive distribution network when you have the smart meters. Have you taken the central government approval for this?
Yes. For all the system, the software system, it is there in the bid document that they have to maintain the cyber security should be maintained. So we have got a report also from the TKC that there is they have given a report that this cyber security is budgeted till for 1 year till February 2020.
What is TKC, please?
No, sorry, the contractor, that one who's implementing the smart meter now. So they have been they have to look after the cyber security of the system. Is there look out to look after that? So the central government also is insisting on this, and for the meters also we have been we have mandated to be checked by the CPRI, which check about the security of the systems.
So let me come back to you, Professor.
Yeah.
Last year, if you remember, the state government had instituted an inquiry committee into this whole so-called scam. And recently, the Chief Minister claimed that they didn't find anything. So don't you think that this inquiry should be placed before the Assembly? Otherwise, the government investigates itself. Why would it want to show anything wrong to the public?
The explanation should be given, and Assembly is the best place where the members can ask their questions, that what was the findings of that inquiry, and inquiry related to that real expenditure, real quotation, what was invited, and payment made, everything, all the pros and cons. So the truth can be revealed there, and they can get more confidence from there, because people will also be informed. Decision should be informed properly.
See, the trend of this government has been to institute inquiry committees and to get a report and then to remain quiet. And the opposition also doesn't seem to be pushing too much on this issue. So how do you think, or what do you think? Because nowadays we see that even universities are very quiet about a lot of things. You've decided to get into that ivory tower, into a comfort zone. Nobody's writing. University is the place to question everything. Yeah. But you don't seem to care at all about any sector.
No, we are doing our work, university people. So
no, we understand you're doing your work, you're educating, but you also have to take up public
no, madam.
issues.
Just I gave one example that one of my students did PhD on the traffic congestion. So that is related to the welfare of the people of the state. So similarly on tourism valuation, I myself guided PhD of the student. So
why would
it is related to the welfare of the people.
Why would a PhD student in economics do traffic jam, do a PhD on traffic jam?
The traffic congestion, that is same. We did, no? So it has some economic implication, social implication, as well as pollution and other control. So overall environmental management. So three different aspects are there. Universities are teachers are doing, students are doing, but some of the things are there where the things are not informed properly. If there is misinformation, so your analysis, there is a chance of highly mistake. Suppose as you said that one inquiry is done and one party is telling that there is so many loopholes, mistakes. Another party is telling, I am not mentioning, just in that way I am telling, that no, everything is in order. But if I say everything is in order, then I have to clarify why I am saying it is in order.
Yeah. It has to become a public
then
domain
only
paper.
you can have a proper analysis. So many of the information, these are empirical analysis, when we do, if we do not get proper information and we find it very difficult to collect, not only that sampling error, non-sampling error, information difficulty, time lagness, you have to finish the work within a certain time frame. So depending on that we choose the work, and most of the works like agricultural government expenditure in Meghalaya, how it benefits the farmers, on that also I guided one PhD. So we do all related to the people's welfare, like the Manrega, on that also I guided a PhD. So most of the works we do which are related to the welfare of the common people.
You haven't done any work on the power sector, no?
Power sector we did not.
If I may add, ma'am.
Yes.
That depends on the field of the person also.
If I may add to your question to be clearer. See, this government has instituted about 2-3 committees or 2-3 commissions. When you look at the power sector, there are a lot of allegations. It's not only the smart metering project.
Yes.
So Bhagya scheme is one of the most popular. So after Sobhagya come the smart meter, then that question that you have asked Bas Im, where they have called tender on of Yugo billing, they said there's something. Not only that, there was one contract given to a company for operation and maintenance of the substation. Even that one also was given without any tender. So there's a lot of thing going on within the power sector. But after much hue and cry, the government instituted or constituted a inquiry commission.
Committee.
But then if you look at the terms of reference, if you look at the reply that was given by the Chief Minister, he said that the terms of reference of this committee is only to look at the outdated procurement system of the MECL, how to improve that procurement system, but it doesn't say anything about the liability,
Yes.
the criminal aspect of this.
Yes, yes.
So even if this, if you say that the report will be placed in the assembly, it will be quiet about the criminal system, the criminal aspect of what happened to Sobhagya.
But that is where you expect the opposition to
Yes.
come in.
See, from us, from our part, we have already written to the Cabinet Secretary of the Government of India, because when it comes to the Sobhagya scheme, there are a lot of things that happen in that, the irregularities. So we have written to the Cabinet Secretary, because there was some observation even made by the Cabinet Secretary during the during the award of contract for the Sobhagya scheme, and the main player there, Satnam. Even this same name cropped up
Everywhere.
since the coming of this government. The name Satnam is very popular. In fact, it is said also that some people from Satnam run power department.
Yes.
There is an allegation made. There is that
everyone
allegation
says
also.
that.
So we see the connection, but the problem is with the inquiry committee that was formed by the government, they don't have the investigating power. So of course they won't go into the criminal aspect. Now if you won't go into the criminal aspect, then how would you fix responsibility? Who is responsible? So this inquiry commission of the government inquiry committee is just an eyewash. It's just an eyewash. Even if they place before the assembly, the Chief Minister will stand and say that, see, they have given a clean sheet, which we all know what happened. All the, we have all the papers which have shown how the tendering system, how the clauses have been changed, thus just to, to meet or to suit Satnam or to one particular company. So all these things, if it has to be done, there should be a criminal investigation, and there should be by some agency, not this inquiry committee or inquiry commission, in which even the members are handpicked by whom?
Handpicked, yes.
Handpicked by the government. Yes. So of course these people, when they submit the report, they'll submit the report which will suit the master, yes. the government. So we don't believe in all these eyewash committee. What we want is that there should be an investigation. It should be done by some agency or a court-monitored investigation.
Do you have anything to say on that? But as a government...
I will reserve it for...
Yeah. And because that has not yet been placed in the House, so... let me come back to you, but why this opposition to smart meters? Is it because of a lack of awareness? Is it because of poor public confidence? What is the reason? Even I don't feel I want to have a smart meter.
Anything new, anything different, anything that is not...
because I may be monitored, who I talk to, you never know.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Anything that is new, nobody will just accept it easily. But I think before we accept, you have to be convinced, you have to be...
No, but what are you doing to create that public awareness?
Yeah, we are going through different places also. I mean, our team are there, which we're going to different areas to carry out awareness campaign. And I believe, we have, I think he will elaborate on that.
We have gone to Red FM, we visited so many places in the whole Kasi Jantia Hills area, like big market building like Mairang, Soyong, Maunga, Maukurwat, then Sora, Shela, and Mauring Keneng, Umulong, Bernihat.
What about Shillong City?
Shillong City, we have not done.
Why?
They have not been installed in Shillong.
As a concentration of population in Shillong.
In Shillong also, we will do in Shillong also.
No, there are a lot of questions. People are asking a lot of questions. Firstly, see if Bas also stated that in a lot of these smart meters, even in the RTI, it has already stated that SIM card will be installed or GPRS will be installed. After all, at the end of the day, technology is made by man. And who can hack that technology is a man himself. And we have that question of security aspect also. If it is made in China, what will happen to the security of the country? That aspect also has to be looked into. Second thing, Ba said that the cyber security or cyber whatever of the company of the TKC is for 1 year. So what will happen after that 1 year when Satnam goes back? Who will run that? And how much is the cost to
What about
keep that?
also about the data collected?
Yeah, data.
Where will the data go?
No, it is it hosted in the system, in the cloud server.
Data are
See,
with us.
You can't say that because
No, data hosted in cloud in MEPT sales account.
So that like you is telling that maybe like Chinese in it, when like it is not made in India. No, it's not made in India meter. The meter is made in Gurgaon.
It is made by JPM, but then this the contract that was given, it's a JB, a joint venture of Satnam, JPM, and Inhemeter. Whereas
Yes,
Inhemeter is a
Inhemeter.
Chinese company.
Yes, it is a
we all know
Chinese
that.
company.
So what happened is that even if the meters are made in India, in Gurgaon, but then the technology you brought from China. Otherwise, what is the role of Inhemeter in this
Yes,
venture?
yes.
That is a question that we have to ask.
Chance of control.
Yeah, I mean, there
by
must be
them.
something that Inhemeter is doing. Otherwise, why would Inhemeter
would-
be joined in this joint
Yeah.
venture? See, those are the questions that people has to understand. And most of the if you go to the outskirts of Shillong or to some rural areas, people are also asking that. See, there will be a rent given for when you install a SIM card. There will be a rent every month. So that rent who will pay? The people. Second thing, after 2 years of operation and maintenance of Satnam will go
away.
MECL will come. Then during that time, if these smart meters spoil
Collapse.
or collapse, the whole system collapse maybe. Who will bear that expenses? So these are the questions, MECL has to take the responsibility in order to make people aware.
Actually, the meters, they for 5 years guarantee. If it spoils, they have to replace it. After 2 years, we will run the system. The company that is running the system now will be giving us all the officer training how to run the system during this 2 years period of their running. So we our officers will be learning how to run it. So any payment has to be made, like he's telling about the SIM card. Yes, the corporation will pay for it.
Okay,
Not
so
the-
let me ask you one question, because this is a question that weighs heavily in our minds. Up to what extent is MECL in the red, and how do you plan to overcome this?
I
think we'll have to take to a different level now for this.
That is quite a big thing to answer in this forum.
Can't answer.
No.
It relates to a lot of finance and other matters. So I think
Because how long can the state continue to push in money for a non-revenue generating unit?
yes, ma'am. Like I was saying earlier, and what I think Sundram also has agreed to what I had said. I mean, that was prior to this thing. You see, this sector, ma'am, is not only. It's not like any other private sector. It's a sector that is doing much or well beyond the.
It's more like a social sector.
It's more
you
like
want
a
to say.
social sector. Because when you look at the places, like there are places where commercially viable, there are places in the rural areas, you don't get anything, but there is a continuous expenditure which you have to incur. How do you survive?
There are also these allegations that the export promotion centers or the industrial areas are getting away with a lot of non-payment of bills. Have you been able to plug that loophole?
We are doing something on that, ma'am. There are a number of consumers whom we have disconnected, and we are trying to get all the pending dues from them. So
What is the amount, if we may ask?
there are firms which have gone up to as much as 50 crores.
Oh my goodness. They owe the government 50 crores.
Yes.
How were they allowed to get into so much in the red?
Should have been allowed. In fact, I don't know how.
Are they enjoying power subsidy?
I am not sure, ma'am. I think this will have to be looked from the what.
I think the thing will be much more than 50 crores, because as per information that we have, only this Shri Shai Prakash Alloy,
what I'm saying,
they have a due of around 51 crores.
Yeah,
that's
for
what
one,
I'm
for
saying.
one
Yeah,
company.
for one company.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
about
So,
one company.
yeah.
So,
So if
other than that, of course, like
there are
we have
a lot of dues.
That is, I mean, I'm talking about the maximum one.
Whereas if you go to the rural areas, a household who owe the MECL 2,000 or 3,000, they are ready to cut it overnight. Whether these people,
that's what happened
these
in Garo
companies,
Hills.
yes,
No, they've cut, huh? Let me just
they
inform
do
you.
that. They do that.
No,
they do that.
Let me
They
inform
do
you. I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
this company that we're talking about now, the power supply is cut.
No, you cut from only for one. I think for one generation thing, not the other. They have for two dues, as per the letter that
They
we
don't
have,
have
as per
supply
the
now.
information.
Let me
Yeah.
just. Power
Okay,
Sai
maybe
Prakash is not
that
having
this
any
letter
supply.
was issued in the month of July, so maybe now they have cut it down. Maybe they have, but this is the problem with the MECL and the power department. They don't look at the revenue.
You're strict
with-
with the
yes,
ordinary citizens,
citizen.
but you're very lenient with the industrialists.
In fact, with BIA, I think Bernihat Industries Association, they also have a contract that power should be supplied at a considerable rate. Also, there was that news also in the public domain. Yeah. So
Anyway, I think we will have to come to an end with this discussion now. Maybe we can have a second discussion on this issue, and Ba had said we have to go to a different level. So maybe the next time we will try that different level, because after all, we have to tell the public, you are a public sector undertaking. The public has to know what they're getting into,
Yes.
and they have to, as far as possible, assist you in your intent to make all of us smart in terms of our use of electricity. So viewers, you have just heard for yourself the views of different actors in this whole sector. You've heard an activist who has done a lot of homework. You've heard an enlightened, educated professor of NEHU who still believes that the power sector must be socially inclined and not be privatized. You've heard the engineers defending the need to keep the sector, to keep power in the social sector. On this note, we will end the discussion today. We hope that you will view this program and also give us your feedback. Thank you very much.